Came from the bottom, down below. Baby, on a cold night, I'm sleeping on the floor. All you think about the 40 hours, we got it down below. A nigga got so much money on me, can't count no more. Remember I was in the project wall, couldn't even get along. Now these niggas got their hands out, if I ain't give it, I be wrong. Remember I was in the country, none of these niggas wasn't picking up the phone. Gotta make it online, I ain't got time no more. A nigga started from the bottom, now I'm living. Early morning up for women in the kitchen. Some people said I couldn't do it, and I did it. Look at my makeup, now I'm running up the engine. I ain't did all that doing that song shit. I'm walking out, talking out, living. To the birdhouse, looking to the project. Billy Coop died from pigeon. Down my ass. Going to the rest. Oh, my mama goes to first, get the right, so you ain't got a dress. Give me the work, give me the nigga, but I'm now the look. This will be my dog. So God is blessed. Down below, feeling the cold night. I'm sleeping on the floor. All you think about 40 hours, we got it down below. I'm just gonna argue this guy. Just
Buddy. Buddy. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to future house. I'm not going to lose. I see that. Oh, wow. Somebody.
What's up, man? Sorry, I'm hearing a couple different things. Yeah. Oh, here. Let me switch. Yep. Okay, I'm on the live studio now. Yep. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm a so forgive me and let me know if I'm off kilter, but for me, the perspective of God is a little bit different, maybe of what the common theology around it. So I'll say this is that I think God is really the connection with oneself, right? So we're we come out of the womb, we're a little bit different than what we are today, right? And so I think it's really that connection with oneself. And look, personally, I think that there is a God, but that's personal. But I think even if we backtrack, I think from a perspective of what God is, I think it's the connection to oneself. And look, for example, I fasted for 7 days, and um, I've heard multiple other people that have done so, and it removes a lot of the superfluous things that really guide oneself. And so I think really, if we're thinking from a, and again, don't know the nomenclature, so forgive me, but we're thinking from a personal self. Once we can reconnect with ourselves after we remove a lot of those things, that's God, right? It's the guidance to oneself, and look, we can talk about the other side of it as well. Of course, I think there's a common, hey, of course, Nove, like, yeah, I want to move in the right direction. Of course, you idiot, like I want to do that, but like I'm talking about the God that guides us. And I think that's very personal. I think we've all had those situations where oneself, they're like, how did that happen? Like, is that luck? Is that spiritual? Is that myself? And that's God. That's God. But let me stop there. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 So let me say this to you. So you're saying that, so it's a new theory to me, so I apologize if I'm just going to absolutely murder this here. I'm not a murderer, by the way. But I think that from what it sounds like is that you're trying to say that that's such a varying concept. So you're saying that the more diluted you get because you start at the top, then your stance doesn't get to get shown to the top. Is that the new nuance to it? I apologize. Oh, oh, okay. Oh, totally my bad. Sorry about that. What is that the main concept you're arguing? Sorry to cut off. Is that lies are perceivable and should be done? I guess I miss a concept. Sorry. Okay. Can I share? I've been actually working, and I don't know if I can share my screen. I just have some actually lying is never morally acceptable. I've been working on, and I don't have to share, but that actually pulls up to me. Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay. Yeah, tell me if I'm ever going over the line. I don't want to mess up the stream or anything like that. So cool. Thank you. Hey, no, thank you for that. So, wow. Well, if you go to Europe, that's like $30 actually. So really think about that. At least 30. 32.50. Oh shit. I could be wrong. I'm definitely probably wrong on that if you think that's the case. So yeah, yeah. Well, I was always curious. So I have an example here, and again, I'm not sharing my screen here, but I've been thinking about this concept of lying is never acceptable as an absolute, and I think that that's kind of a nuanced concept that most people probably wouldn't take. And one of my examples here is the doctor example. It might not be specific to what the person spoke on, but really, in my example, is that they've been working with them for 60 years. Their grandmother, their mother, their daughter, they know their mother is going to die, but the daughter asks the doctor if they're going to die, but the doctor knows the daughter lost her job, is dealing with all these issues, recently cheated on, and so he is in this morally kind of congruence, and he says, should I lie and say she's okay, or should I tell the truth? He thinks one extra thing will just bridge her off the edge, and I think that's very similar to what you're saying. So he ends up saying, she's going to be fine. The thing is that we assume that the lie is going to produce the outcome that we expect. Maybe she wants someone to be honest with her to say she's going to die. This is going to be very tough because everyone's lied to her up until this point. And we can go even deeper around white lies. Do I look fat in this dress? And even maybe the more comparable one that I think is probably the more comparable one, if you want to really fight it, the Nazi example, the Jew or the person at the door that's trying to find Jewish people. Do you say no? I would say you don't, but let me stop there. Yeah, and I think that's probably pretty honest. She's gonna die terribly. No, I'm just kidding. No. Oh, I'll shut my mouth here. I want to hear this. No. I definitely want to listen. That's what I mean. Like seriously, I just want to get my point out. So I appreciate that. Oh, do I? Yeah, for sure. Let me mute up until. Is it okay? Yeah. Let me mute and I'll check on that. Sounds good. I have my dogs here in the background, so they're crazy.
S- yeah, yeah. Sorry, I apologize for the delay there. So what I think is, look, I think that the idea of God is convoluted. If what you're asking me, and so do I think that there's one being? I would say yes, but it's a personal idea. And then I think that if we discuss the more nuanced perspective of what maybe society thinks, I think it's probably easier to discuss it as someone who's connected more to the human innate values of the core. So, for example, I fasted for 7 days. I'm not sure if I said that here. But I realized that there were a bunch of superfluous things that I was using to negate my core understanding, like my like, look, when we come out of the womb, we're different than what we are today, and you can ask yourself why that is. And I think it's environment, right? I think that's a big perspective, and don't get me caught up. We can go very deep in the environment conversation, but I think out of the womb we have a different perspective. And so I think God is really that divine perspective to be deeper to oneself. And then you would ask, what the heck is oneself? It's the human values, it's connectivity to oneself. It's protecting society. It's never lying. I mean, I think that's a common misconception, is that one should ever lie. I think it's an absolute that you should never lie. And so we can go into the human values, but from God, I do think that there's a higher being. But I think from a middle ground perspective, from society, it really just means connecting back with your human core, if that makes sense. And look, I can develop that further, but let me stop there. What do you mean? I'm pretty insufficient on some of those categories. No pun intended. I can look it up. Categorical forms. What do you mean? Yeah. Why do I think it's always? Well, I think lying first. It corrupts the speaker. So, look, I think if you think from a lying perspective, when you lie, you have to think about um, doing something that's going to provide value, oftentimes for yourself. I mean, we can discuss that, but it's more, hey, I'm lying for a perspective of my benefit. And when you start doing that in even consensual spaces like poker or acting, I think long term, uh, it's going to seep out into non-consensual spaces. We're humans, right? And so we're going to eventually start to justify lying in circumstances we shouldn't. And so we have to have a north star. It doesn't mean that we're ever going to be there. I'm not sure if we, I hope we do, but I'm not sure. But if we don't have a north star for it, we're going to justify lying in circumstances that benefit ourselves because we're just human. Sure, please. What do you mean by liar's dice? I don't mean to be bad at these. Oh, sure. Okay. I hear you. No, I think there's a difference between consensual spaces of lying and non-consensual spaces of lying. So, for example, acting. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. I think the majority of us know that he's putting on, an acting job. Now, I won't argue that I think long term, if you want to ask me deeper, I think there's going to be things in place that showcase that Robert Downey is not an actor and that he actually is a human, because I think there are people that think that. We're not there yet. But to your point, when you no, no, let me say this about poker quick before you go. But so for poker and whatever you're saying is that it's a consensual space. People come into the environment knowing that you're going to be lied to. And what I'll say is that I also disagree with poker and gambling, because I think once you start to lie in consensual spaces, it starts to seep out into non-consensual spaces as well. So, no, no, I think it's like poker. It's an avenue separate of lying. It's an area where society knows we're lying. It's poker, it's gambling, it's acting. And then there's a different society where it's non-consensual, where you're lying to people to, oftentimes, from my understanding, betterment of yourself. And so even in white lies where you say, "Hey, honey, am I fat?" and they say, "Oh, I'm going to say no. I'm not an idiot. And I'm going to say no." I, Once she finds out that you lied, she's never going to fucking trust you again. Pardon my language. And so you're assuming that. Oh, so I have my fan off, so I don't really know what else I have. Oh, sorry, my bad. I turned the fan off. I think it was my issue. So I think the issue is, hey, we think that lying, first off, is going to have a benefit. I think the best example, if I were to talk about lying, is that the Nazi example. If a Nazi were to come up to my door and say, "Are you harboring Jews?" Would you say no? And I don't know if you've ever seen Inglorious Bastards, but Christopher Waltz, great actor by the way, comes up. Kristoff, yeah. So amazing actor, and comes up to the door, from my understanding, if I remember correctly, and the person is harboring Jewish people underneath, I think, his home, underneath the floorboards, and um, Christopher knows, right, like that he is like the guy kind of lies. He comes in, he knows he's lying, so that person that lied assumed that that lie would have an outcome that would benefit himself, but it didn't, because Christopher knew exactly what he was doing. So why not say something like, "I would never harbor Jews in here. What are you expecting?" and hold them underneath the home. So you could say something like a creative truth, where it's, "Hey, we omit every single day. I'm going to creatively decide to tell a truth, like I would never harbor them in my home when they're actually underneath my home." It does a couple things. It, first off, protects the speaker, because you're not lying. Because once you start to lie, you're screwed, man. You're going to lie in so many circumstances. But once you tell a truth, you can be creative about it. You think deeper about the problem, and then you actually have a better outcome of what you want to happen, because you can be creative about it. You can say, "Hey, if I'm going to think deeper, as opposed to just saying no, I can say to that person, okay, the Nazi's going to come up to my door. He's going to expect me to say no. So I'm going to say to him, fuck you. I would never hold anyone in this home. I'm not lying. They're under my home. Um, Come on, look, whatever, do whatever you want." It's the same outcome. And so I think it's just a lack of creative truth that we really want to decipher long term, if that makes sense. So kind of talk long term there, but what do you guys think? I don't. Please feel free to give me a synopsis if you can. Great title. Okay. Mhm. 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 Okay. Okay. So you're saying that. Oh, sorry, I apologize. Please. So can you just. Yeah. Yeah, no. Was that to me? Lying by omission is lying. Yeah, yeah. So what I'll say is we omit every day of our life, right? Language is a vessel for our thoughts. Language can never fully encapsulate what we think. And so we're really using language as a vessel to communicate. And so when you say that we're lying through omission, we're really deciding creatively why the benefit. First off, I think there's a hierarchy to how we kind of have creative truth. It's one is protecting the speaker, right? So if we lie, we alienate ourselves. We once we lie, that that can go anywhere. We can progress to anything. We lie once, wow. Ooh, I'm gonna lie to this person. I'm gonna lie to that person. We're great at justifying, and so one, it protects the speaker. Two, what we're trying to do is protect the innocent. So when we lie, what happens long term is that we end up causing a problem to society when we lie, because when we give white lies to, hey, do I look fat in this outfit, and you say no, when she finds out to her friends that she does look fat, she can't trust you in other circumstances. And so long term, what it ends up doing is that it cultivates inconsistency through what you're saying and what you're doing, because most people understand how they're going to lie to you. You look in today's society, we're really great at understanding liars. Look at Sora. I mean, I can see AI from a mile away without the damn Sora title. We're becoming greater and greater at it. So, really, when you think about lying, you're saying, okay, the benefit is, and I'm not sure. I think the only benefit is, hey, let me protect the innocent. Let me protect the innocent, because that's really, I think, the only other. Because if you say, hey, let me lie to my wife, like, good luck to you. You start saying that, people are going to say, where else do you lie? So I think most people would say that you wouldn't do the bare minimum white lies. But it's the more extremes. And I say that you don't know the outcome of your lies. You expect your lie to have the certain outcome that you expect, but it's not expected. And so let's say it's 50-50. It's a coin toss. You're trying to say that if I lie, it's going to have the benefit of what I expect versus the not. and and it's 50-50, right? Let's say that. Then you're saying that the benefit of truth is, hey, I get everyone who hears that I lie, says something superfluous, when once I catch myself lying, they're going to now no longer look at me the same person. Whereas if I lie, maybe it's an outcome. It's like you're going 50-50, and I think it's very superfluous, because I think there's just so many downstream factors to that aspect of it. But let me pause there because I know there's a lot of comments. What does that mean? What are those? I've never read Sam Harris's book. I did have the wake up thing. I'm on his waking up. It's a great meditation app, but I didn't subscribe to it long term. But yeah, look, I think at the end of the day, I think lying first off corrupts the speaker. It assumes that it's going to have an outcome that's not guaranteed. Like I have yet to hear a lie that has an outcome that they expected. And then once they lie, I mean, look at Inglorious Bastard in that first scene. He comes in, asks if he's harboring Jews. He says no. Then he ends up giving them up in the long term, and then they kill him anyways. And now that guy has to live with that for the rest of his life, right? Now no one can ever trust him ever again because he lied in the circumstance that he, maybe shouldn't have or should have just been smarter about it. So you're saying that hey, there's liars that are prolific that are going to lie consistently that are going to hey if we well why don't you describe it to me? Okay. So you're saying that people at the top lie? Okay, and how, I don't know what questions are coming at me here. Are you asking me? Have been cheated on and lied about it. I have. I have. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I caught them. I saw Snapchat and I just put the pattern together. That's my benefit, I guess. It fucking sucks, but and I was like, "What's happening?" And then they kind of confessed, but initially they lied, um, and then I called them out. Oh yeah, tell me, please. Well, no, you can't. You can't make a claim like that and then not make a comment. You can't. Okay. So okay, sure. Okay, what are you saying though? I don't get what that matters. Do I think there's a God outside me, outside of lying? Well, look, I think God is it's so funny. It's like you've changed the topic four times here. We were talking about lying and now it's God. And then somebody comments about why and wants to make like a little jab at me and say like, "Oh, now I'm oh now oh dude, no 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 no. Please don't like I think it'll look better for you if you don't say it wasn't a jab because I think everyone knows it was. So just hey, it's okay. This is a very complex topic. Dude, nobody says that after somebody shares something vulnerable. I am. Yes. That was your comment. That was like you're like I'm gonna ask him if he's lying, and then oh shit, he said yes. Okay, he's wrong. Okay, well I think everyone in chat knows that you were trying to do that because you felt a certain way about the topic and you wanted to try and get a jab, and I get it. You're a moral realist. You're a moral realist. Really, you're a moral realist. Really? Yeah. And, and, and if you cared about it, you would have asked me instead of assuming it was a specific way. So, no, you asked me to then vilify your spot in the entire conversation, and then you were like, "Oh, let me get off the mic. So let me get the doctor guy that we have, which we don't actually know is a doctor. Yeah, that's great. Let's get him back on here. He has a hat on, so let's get him over here." It's just ridiculous, bro. Like own up to yourself because you know later on this is going to come back to haunt you. It's called karma because the people that die long term are the people that lie to themselves. And then what happens is that actually hurts themselves. Think about whoever lies to themselves, they end up hurting themselves. And then long term, they end up dying, dude. You can laugh about it all you want, but there's never any sort of conversation about it. Like, what's a conversation, bro? No, I think you don't wanna have a conversation. Why don't you respond to what I'm saying instead of saying I'm confused? Respond. How about that? I'm conf So you can't respond? So why don't you tell me? So why don't you tell me how I'm confused? So what did you say? Go ahead. Oh, he's completely forgot it. Here we go, here we go. The guy just wants to not say anything. Why don't you respond to me, bro? Yeah, oh, you don't wanna respond to me. Okay, so respond to me. Your response is no response? I mean, come on, chat, come on. You know this guy's a fucking idiot, right? Like, listen to him. Oh, now he's trying to like backtrack his comment. Okay, great job. You're trying to take on the comment of negativity because you've been bullied differently. And so you're like, hey, let me make fun of it. That's my comedy. That's why I make comedy because I was bullied when I was younger. Like, it's so obvious, bro. No, you're confused, bro. You can't even respond to my comment. It's a debate show, dummy. No, it's a debate show, dummy. I mean, bro, it's a debate. He wants to call me names. Ah, all right, fine. All right. I appreciate you. Okay, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. You're right. You're right. My bad. I hear you. I apologize. Yeah. I hear you. I hear you, Jay. But it's that's the thing between you and me, Jay, is that I know and I see the differentiating factor on small comments because I see patterns like that, man. I know people like that. I've known them my entire life. These guys want to make specific small comments and then claim ignorance. It's like, man, you guys are so small. No, it's claiming ignorance for sure or you guys have no ability to actually think deeply because it's either ignorance or you're not thinking deeply. It's one of the other two. Why are you guys off camera, by the way? Why don't you come on camera? Yeah, makes sense, you fucking losers. Yeah, makes sense, you fucking losers. Yeah. You fucking losers, bro. Oh, go off camera. Oh, I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna go off camera because 'cause I'm so fucking fat, I can't even sit on camera. Come on camera. Can anyone come on camera? Anyone? Not a single person can come on camera? Oh my god. How fat and ugly are you guys? My god. Come on camera! One person! Come on camera, please. Is there anyone watching that'll come on camera? Alright, I'm fucking with you guys. I'm fucking with you guys. I'm sorry. Dude, I'm sorry, bro. I'm dude, I'm I'm coming off. I'm coming off. It's probably true. That's probably true, actually. Dude, I just shaved. I just shaved. I just shaved. Shit. My bad. My bad. My bad. I don't. I actually just I follow a morality that I know is innate to me. So, like when we came out of the womb, like there's a reason why we all love kids, right? They're like, no matter if you're a thug, if you're regular or whatever, you see a kid and you're like, oh, that's a pure soul, right? And there's a reason why we say that. It's because they're pure and they haven't actually been cultivated from the environment. And so I actually don't. I actually don't. Well, no, no, no. I think I think I think so. First off, I will say I don't have kids, and look, you can, of course, but I think you're getting them at the point where, at least my argument is, to like they've already been abducted by the environment of their parents, other kids. Yeah. Oh, 100%, dude. Oh, you're well into the idea. Yeah, you're well into the idea they've already adopted environment. Like they adopt environment so quickly. That's why they adopted their mama so quick. So I think, environment is subjective, but I think at the end of the day, it's like probably a few weeks. I mean, at the end of the day. And so like what I'm saying around say that one more time. I cut you off. I'm sorry. Can I chat GPT it? Is that allowed? Oh, I wouldn't be I definitely wouldn't be able to do that top ahead for sure. Yeah, that's fine. I get it. Totally fair. I cannot. I cannot. ChatGPT, but I wouldn't even do that. I won't do
I would say, hello. No, 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 no. Test, test. No, no, no. Yeah, what are you talking about, bro? Oh, I have so many comments. I have so many comments. First off, somebody said they're like,
Hey, he's lying because he has trauma from his past. Yeah, okay, that's fair, but it doesn't justify lying. It's just me having a reason to call out lying. It's not one and the same. So, first off, I'll say that. Wait, what do you mean? Say that again? What do you mean? Sure, I can. I'm saying that's not. Sure, I'm saying that's not the reason for this. I mean, I hear you. So you're saying that, hey, he has okay. Well, first off, let me say that it was that doesn't justify me going after why lying is wrong. Like I can go after lying is wrong for any reason. So let's say that's true. Lying can be wrong for many reasons outside of that, right? Okay. What's a beneficial outcome? What's a beneficial outcome? So what is that? Give me an example, please. Okay. Okay. Ah, okay. So you're assuming that you lying to her and say you didn't cheat on her is a benefit versus if you told her. Is that the summation? Okay, so let's say this is that you lied to her. Like you're assuming that you think that she'll never find out you cheated on her, right? Yeah. Well, how's that worked out for everyone in this chat? In the past, not very fucking well. And p p p yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. She's married to one of your best friends. Exactly right. And and so it doesn't work out how you expect it to. And that's exactly the point I'm making. And so no, because she found out later on after she thought that oh, well, you think so. I mean, that's what you think. Like, so that's just God guiding you to long-term issues. Like, because God always guides people to their grounding, right? They always guide themselves back to themselves. Oh, God. Well, look, well, you do. You're just blocked by the anger that you have in your heart from your past trauma. No, I no, not okay. We could just talk regular, man. You don't have to like drawn out when I talk in front of you, man. It's all good. But like, no, I just want to talk. Well, God did give us superpowers. It's the idea to understand ourselves. I can't fly, but I think you think that that's what God gave you. Why do you think God would give you flying? Well, I don't think many of us really care what you think when you don't think of God as being real. So why even be part of the conversation if you're just going to make epithets? You just want to make epithets on it to like make fun because you grew up in a society and an environment where people made fun of you, and so you just had to make comedy like to actually like feel worthy. Like you can't actually be silent in the society. No, n- no, I'm just being the first person that's ever been honest to you in your life. Yeah, you wish I was your mom, bitch. I'm your mom. That's what I am. Doubt it. Look, let's be real. I'm the entire conversation here, so don't fucking mute me. Thank you. Yes, I apologize. Sometimes I get aggressive. Yeah, well, I think the for me, I haven't read the Bible, so I always like from front to end. And so I feel weary of ever trying to articulate it in conversation because like what I read in chapter 1 is going to be different than chapter 10. And so I don't really want to say it out loud. And I mean, I think some of it is probably to not look like an idiot. There's no doubt in that. Um, so what I really just try and follow is my human values and morality that I think are guidance of the Bible. From what I've heard, I think the Bible is really the capitulation of how you should really live your life. I think it's really before cell phones and internet and even these streams where you're just kind of connected with yourself and society. And someone wrote about that. Sure, yeah. Well, uh, like I said, I haven't read through the full Bible at the very beginning when I started this thought, so I don't really know in particular. I'm just really following. Yeah, yeah. So my ideas are, yeah, please. Oh, here, yep, that's me. I'm muting right now. Minneapolis, Minnesota, baby. Should be good though. Minneapolis. I don't know where it left off, but all right, should we do a new topic? What do we think about euthanasia? Oh, sorry. Is that okay? My bad. My bad. Sorry, I'm not new to YouTube, so I don't know what you can and cannot say. Oh shit. Okay. All right. I'm done. Do I think my God exists outside my head? That's. I think it's very personal. You know what? I'll be honest. I've been dealing with that lately because I think, I think it's obvious, at least to me, to think that God can be, and tell me if I'm wrong here, that God can be the moral. This is gonna sound so convoluted, so just bear with me here. It's very busy. Where God is the, like the moral constitute. It's really the values that we persist on. So it's really, so when I talked about fasting before, it was really connecting to oneself and what we value. I think when we think internally, we oftentimes are not doing what we expected ourselves to do, and people are always looking for, what should I do? Where should I follow? Yada yada yada. Dana White is like, follow what you love and you'll do anything. And it's like, okay, but like what does that mean? I need some guidance on it. And really, I think it's a feeling internally that guides oneself. And so when you ask what God is, it's that. It's the guidance that you can't name, right? So I don't. Well, both actually. He's a moral philosopher. He's going to be in the Bible soon enough because Donald Trump's going to put him in it. No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm kidding. I'm just sure. Oh, stop it. I'm kidding. I just like to troll people a little bit. I don't even know what that even opened up. I didn't mean to open up a can of worms. I was just messing around. But yeah, that's how I feel. So, well, you said, is, do I think of an omnipotent God? Is that your question, or both? Both, both. No, I was good. Like, if you guys want this to be actually like a good conversation, tell me what that actually is. Otherwise, I'll just like guess yes. I just follow my heart, guys. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh there. That was too funny. I have no idea what the hell you just said. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Oh, very cool. I didn't know that. That's super interesting. Super cool. So can I ask you what you mean the guide from the Bible? Whoa, wait! Tell me what you think God from the Bible is, maybe. Because remember, I don't know the like. well, well, let's assume that I haven't read the Bible, which I haven't. So, what's your? Well, I said that. Well, I said that quite a bit ago, and I think that yeah, I think like I haven't have any of you read the Bible fully? And which Bibles did you read, by the way? Yeah. Oh, I just meant which Bibles you read. The Old Testament and New Testament, and so you read the Old Testament and New Testament. All right. Well, I don't know. We'll just move on from that then. Like, so what's your question? Yes. It's a feeling. Well, I don't know. I don't think you don't think so. I think many people have articulations within themselves that their brain doesn't associate that can considered as feelings. I mean, when they're not alive and then they get zapped. I mean, that's a common example. Well, they're dead and then they get zapped alive. Are you serious? I mean, does anyone think that anyone that's been resuscitated isn't considered dead? I think the majority of people in this conversation would. Okay. Well, I love that you guys like just had this conversation like 30 minutes ago. That's why all five of you. Come on. So what's the conversation I missed before? Let me just start there. So you're saying that people that die but are brought to life are not technically dead because what there's neurons associated to when. Okay. So, okay. And so your realization is bells in coffins? Well, I think that's a pretty bad example. Yeah, but I'm not really sure why dead is dead. Like, what's your reasoning for dead not being dead? If they technically say they're dead and then they've been brought to, which is a common thing in any doctoral analysis where people have been considered dead technically. Well, I mean, look, I mean, I'm a grown ass man. Thank you. Oh, God bless you. God bless you for them to come back. I pray for that. So so you're arguing semantics over the actual conversation we're having. No, oh, that's semant. Well, what do you think words are? They're semantics, dude. Google it, bro. Like you're which is what? Which is what? Which is what? Tell me. What is it? Well, say it again then. Okay, so if I find one situation where a brain damaged person has lost their life, okay, okay, brain dead and has come back to life, you're telling me that that is impossible. All right, well, I hope ChatGPT works well here, but that's actually not that I okay, first off, I was trolling. I'm not using I promise. I'm not. I was trolling. And you can believe me or not, I don't really care, but I'm just saying I was trolling on that. Like I'm gonna look it up. Not trying to be a dick. Well, sometimes I am. Can I ask you, was it brainstorm? I'm trying to look it up now. Brainstorm. What was you said it was brain degradation? Yes, I would as well. I think plants are actually, if we want to talk about veganism, I eat meat, but I think the only sustainable long term uh, path is veganism. But I won't go down that path. Well, look, if we want to, yeah, I don't know all the terms that you're calling out. What I'll say is that it's a feeling that I have. I think if we want to say it's even a little bit more. Kiwi, get away from that, please. Sorry, I have dogs here. So what I think it is long term is that it's really a capitulation back to the internal consistency of us out of the womb, if you want to say that. But it's really our human values of, dude, I love wombs, man. What do you want to say, man? Kiwi. Uh, what Kiwi? It might be. Should it be? Who is this just dropping in? This feels like somebody I haven't heard from. Well, dude, Howdy's like, dude, I heard some comment he said. I'm gonna pop in really quick because I got a fucking banger, bro. I can just say it right off the rip, and then I'm gonna pop off. Nice on you, Howdy, you fucking loser. But and he